like to call the meeting to order.
Madam Chair, I move that we return to open session and adopt certification of closed session.
Is there
I
a
second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that we go back into open session and adopt certification of closed session. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Okay. We're now in open session.
Certification of closed session. Whereas the Dinwiddie County School Board has convened a closed session on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas paragraph 2.2-3712 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Dinwiddie County School Board hereby certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, only such business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the school board. J. Sneff, District 1. Betty Haney, District 2.
I certify.
Barbara Pittman, District 3.
I certify.
Mary Benjamin, District 4.
I certify.
Shirley Merritt, District 5.
I certify.
Madam Chair, 4 certified, 1 absent, J. Sneff.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Levine, could we have the students lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Mr. First.
Okay. Ms. Bird. All right, please stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay.
Are there any
Yeah.
additions to the agenda? Madam Chair, I move that we accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the agenda as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the agenda is accepted. Closed session report, the personnel list.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the personnel list as it was presented.
Second.
Abstain.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the personnel list as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Student matters.
Madam Chair, I move that we honor the request of the parent and re-enter student number R-08/22-2 to Dinwiddie County Public Schools.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we honor the request of the parents and readmit the student back into school, or the student number R-08/22-2. All those in favor, please say aye.
Abstain.
Aye.
Abstain.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, now recognition presentations.
Yes, I'd like to invite Ms. Robinson Williams to come forward and introduce to us our new student representatives for the school year. You might also recognize that we have a familiar face out there. Jamaica Weaver's here, and she's agreed to continue in her senior year to continue to serve in the capacity of being a mentor to these students.
Good afternoon, Board.
Good afternoon.
Our first student rep is Miss Grace Jones. Grace is the daughter of Scott Jones and Crystal Russell. She is currently a senior at Dinwiddie High School. Grace has participated in chorus, theater, and weightlifting. All three have helped her. In theater, she learned to have a good sense of character and how to use her voice. In chorus, she learned how to maintain control of her voice. And in weightlifting, she learned the importance of being comfortable and confident in herself. She prides herself in being a good listener and a true people person. Grace stated that as a student rep, she knows the difference between right and wrong, and she believes that she can be the voice for her peers. Grace Jones.
Yes.
Our second student rep is Mr. Jonathan Machado Aguilar. Jonathan is the son of Oscar Machado Trujillo and Lorena Aguilar Solano. He is a junior and currently enrolled in dual enrollment classes at Dinwiddie High School. He is aspiring to become an engineer and possibly a nurse. He has been an honor roll student ever since starting Dinwiddie High School, and Jonathan stated that as a student rep, he feels that he will offer a diversified opinion and alternate solutions to help his fellow peers in ways that will benefit all. Jonathan.
Thank you so much. And I know Mr. Garnes is here to support our young people. Do we have others that are here this evening if you'd stand to support these young people? Others? Okay. Well, we're all here to support you, and we look forward to working with you this year. We had a great first meeting with them and know that they're going to do amazing work in this capacity. So thank you both so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the Attendance Award Awareness Month.
I think the Constitution.
Oh, Constitution Day presentation. Excuse me.
Yes, and
Yes,
so
that's
we're
next.
going to have Mr. Bird, the principal, come forward and provide us with open this up for us.
Good afternoon, Dinwiddie County School Board, Dr. Weston, all stakeholders assemble. I just wanted to take a second to introduce some representatives from our 7th grade civics class. These amazing students have been learning a little bit about our Constitution and thought they'd like to share some of what they've learned with the board. So at this time, Mr. Levin, you can take it from here, okay?
All right. You guys can stand up. Looking forward to it. So this upcoming Saturday, September 17th, is Constitution Day. So September 17th, 1787, the Constitution was signed. So it should be 235 years ago this Saturday. So our students have been learning a little bit about the Constitution, and included in that is the preamble to the Constitution, which includes the meaning for our government, why it's there, the purposes and goals of our government. And so some of our students, starting with Ava, would like to talk about that.
My name is Ava, and I have learned that the preamble says that we should form a more perfect union. That means that we should try to make our country good as possible.
My name is My Angel, and in the Dinwiddie, we form a perfect union through our Department of Innovation and Development. The team members in this department work to make sure that our country is always providing, improving in any way we can.
My name is Serenity, and I learned that the preamble says that we should establish justice. This means that our country should be fair.
My name is Kimora, and in Dinwiddie, we establish justice with our Department of Student Services. The team members in this department work to meet our students' needs so that we know we all have a fair chance at being successful in school.
My name is Kaylee, and I learned that the preamble says that we need to ensure domestic tranquility, and that means that our government wants us to live in a peaceful country. My name is Andrea, and in Dinwiddie, our incredible secretary staff ensures domestic tranquility. Without their hard work keeping things organized, we know that everything would be chaotic across all our schools, so they definitely keep things more peaceful.
My name is Tadron, and I learned that the preamble says we need to provide for the common defense. This means that we need to protect our country.
My name is Warren, and in Dinwiddie, our school resources officers provide for our common defense. We make sure in our country to always have an officer in the schools so that we can defend and safe while we learn.
My name is Bryce, and I learned that the preamble says we need to promote the general welfare. That means we need to try to have everyone do well.
My name is Logan, and in Dinwiddie Middle School, our nutrition service staff promotes the general welfare by making sure all students are fed well at breakfast and lunch every day. My name is Jamilette, and I learned that the preamble says that we should secure the blessings of liberty. That means that we should protect and enjoy our freedom. In Dinwiddie, our teachers help us secure the blessings of liberty. Learning is the best way to freedom, and our teachers bless us with incredible opportunities to learn every day.
And that's pretty much the preamble. So, like I said, these students were just very excited to learn more about our Constitution and the preamble, and they're very thankful for what Dinwiddie provides to them in that way. So, thank you all very much for listening.
Thank you.
And good job to all of them. They did a very good job.
Yeah. Would the parents for the students like to stand along with them?
Yes.
Would you like to stand, parents? Thank you for the wonderful children y'all have. We really appreciate it.
If you've never had the opportunity to visit Mr. Levin's classroom, it is such a treat. Yes. Every day. And he is always exactly that same way every single day. So it is a real treat to have him as a teacher. He does definitely bring it to life, doesn't he? Yes, yes. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Okay, we'll take a few minutes break.
They're so cute.
I know. Mr. Bird, you're doing well. Okay, give him a chance to. Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and continue. We have, we've done the Constitution Day presentation, and we have the Attendance Awareness Month.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I am excited to talk to you this afternoon about student attendance. So before we get to September being Student Attendance Awareness Month, I want to give a little background as to where we are with attendance. So chronic absenteeism is defined as missing 10% or more of the academic year for any reason, including excused absences, unexcused absences, and suspensions. Based on a 180-day school year, that means approximately 18 days per year or 2 to 3 days per month. I guess I need to use the little clicker. Thank you, Ms. Golson. Okay, so the next slide, maybe, I may need technical difficulties, y'all. I apologize. Okay, there we go. Is a map. All right, so this is from 2020, 2021. And basically, Dinwiddie is a color that we don't like in this situation, and that is red. And in that school year, 27% of Dinwiddie County students were considered chronically absent. So that's why I began with, what does it mean to be chronically absent? So there's a little trend there, kind of with some other counties in line with us. And if they're green, obviously the numbers are there at the sides. They were doing a little better. in yellow was still kind of in that mark. What the state and the federal government says is that they'll allow up to 13% of your students to be chronically absent, and you kind of met that target. But our goal is to get below 13%. So our data from this past school year, 27.81% of our students were considered chronically absent. And again, the federal target is 13% or less. So we know we have our work laid out for us here. And, you know, attendance is always a difficult area, but we know with the pandemic and virtual learning, it just kind of made it a little more difficult, but we're going to get back on track. We have the right people at the table for that. We have a lot of hardworking social workers, counselors, attendance secretaries, administrators, and we're going to get there because every day matters. School attendance is essential to academic success, and the research shows that missing as little as 2 days per month or 10% of the school year will have a significant impact on the learning of students. It has to do with students reading on time. It has to do with students graduating on time, and that's why this is important. Yes, it's a piece that the federal and state government, you look at us for accreditation, that's one thing. But it's important because every child matters. So that's the real root of it for us. So we have made a few revisions to the attendance guidelines or the plan. And I will say here, it takes a team. Like, this is not a one-person job or a two-person job. So I just want to thank Dr. Joyner, Michelle Powell, our school counselors, our school social workers, our attendance secretaries, who took time out of a very busy schedule to work on this together. So we conducted a SWOT analysis looking at, you know, our strengths or weaknesses or opportunities or threats with student attendance. And based on that and the data and the feedback we received from all of those stakeholders, we made some revisions. And really, we're hoping that we have a little more proactive plan. Some of the steps are absolutely still the same because the state says there are some steps we have to follow. But we hope our approach is a little more proactive. So students are expected to attend school at least 95% of the time. So during a 180-day school year, that means they should miss no more than 9 days a year. And that is in line with Attendance Works, which is a national campaign about attendance and getting students to school. So to align with that, we will now allow only 2 parent-excused absences per 9 weeks. 3 days will be excused for a death in the immediate family or household, and that aligns with what we allow our employees. So we allow 3 days for employees, same. And principals have the opportunity to excuse more days in extenuating circumstances, so they have that option as well. Our steps for unexcused absences remain the same. So each school has an attendance team. They work together to get through those steps, and I mean, it takes a team being on top of it. And this is something I think is awesome that we're adding. We're still working on what this looks like. But for our middle school and high school students that have absenteeism concerns, like let's say they were chronically absent last year or they're already having issues this year, Joy Marshall, who works with the county, and right now we're calling it the You Matter group. That name may change, but she's going to have a group at the high school and the middle school who will work with certain students, and she'll help them with whatever barriers may be in place or help support them and whatever their needs are to let them know that they matter and we want them here. So I think that's an awesome opportunity. This is kind of the stoplight with absenteeism, again, from the Attendance Works site that kind of helps students and parents and guardians know the expectation. And we are going to make some posters of this for every school. It's on the website under the attendance tab. And again, it's a model that's aligned with the national model. Other proactive steps we're taking: monthly communication to parents and guardians from the division level. And really, this is about educating parents and guardians as to why attendance is important. So that's the proactive piece. And we're working on some incentives where each school is creating their own program. And, you know, part of that may be perfect attendance, but part of that's going to be great attendance, because the goal is to build good habits. And that may not always be perfect because sometimes adults are not here every day either, but it's about building good habits around attendance. We are partnering, which I'm also excited about this, with several businesses around the area who are donating some incentives for us, and I think that is wonderful. And students will see a positive message about the importance of attendance when they open their Chromebooks. Tony and Patty have really helped with, when they open that, seeing that message. Parents and guardians will see the same kind of message about attendance in Infinite Campus Parent Portal. And again, the importance of this is we want students here so they can learn and have great educational opportunities, and they can't have that at home. So we want them here. Now, September is Attendance Awareness Month. So this September marks the 10th annual Attendance Awareness Month campaign, and the campaign is spearheaded by Attendance Works, which I already mentioned, a national initiative that promotes better policy and practice around school attendance. So now I'm going to ask Ms. Robinson-Williams to join me. And there is a proclamation. Now the proclamation's not on this slide because it's kind of long, but we're going to read it to you. And Ms. Robinson-Williams, I'll let you start.
Let's see. Whereas the COVID-19 pandemic and other crises have eroded positive conditions for learning and created an absenteeism crisis, whereas chronic absence, missing 10% or more of school, alert schools, community partners, and families that one or more positive conditions for learning are not in place. Whereas students are more likely to attend school when positive conditions for learning, be it physical and emotional health and safety, a sense of belonging, connection and support, academic challenge and engagement, and adult and peers with social emotional competencies are in place. Whereas the impact of absenteeism and punitive approaches to school discipline contribute to the achievement gap that separates students living in low-income communities and many students of color from their peers who may have resources to make up for lost learning time in the classroom. Whereas showing up for school is an opportunity for students to build routines that can create a sense of safety and belonging, increase engagement, and develop trusting relationships with peers, teachers, and school staff that increase engagement and motivate them to participate in learning. Whereas reducing absenteeism requires taking a comprehensive approach that begins with prevention and early intervention and adopting trauma-informed approaches rather than responding with punitive action. Whereas improving attendance and reducing absenteeism takes schools, families, and community partners working together to identify and address factors contributing to students missing school, particularly a lack of digital access, mental and physical health services, and access to basic economic supports, including food and housing.
Whereas partnering with students and families to monitor attendance as well as understand and address barriers to attendance requires building and sustaining caring relationships and regular communications in the home language spoken by families. Whereas research found even before the pandemic that families had high aspirations for their children, yet faced significant barriers in getting their children to school or lacked the knowledge that showing up nearly every day to school was crucial to academic achievement. Whereas taking attendance daily in a consistent manner and for different types of learning opportunities is essential to identifying when students begin to miss too much school. Whereas taking a positive problem-solving approach to reducing absenteeism requires expanding data to include reviewing chronic absence and attendance data for in-person and remote learning, availability of working contact information for families, connectivity, and positive relationships. Whereas promoting attendance requires noticing as soon as possible when students are starting to miss too much school in order to engage students and families, identify and offer needed support, and early intervention resources. Whereas ensuring an equal opportunity to learn requires using data to detect high levels of absenteeism and missed opportunities to learn by school, grade, and student population. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Dinwiddie County Public Schools stands with the nation in recognizing September as Attendance Awareness Month. We hereby commit to focusing on reducing absenteeism and addressing the factors that cause students to miss school. in order to ensure all children an equitable opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive academically, emotionally, and socially. We recognize that we must work together to engage students and families and send the message that learning can and must continue, whether students participate in person, remotely, or through other approaches. So, and we do, plan to do all of those things. We do think it's about relationships and it's a problem-solving approach. So we recognize that. And then, Ms. Golson, if you'll go back to that last slide, we have done some proactive things. One thing is 29 home visits for our no-show students, which many of those were very successful. Attendance posters at each school. The school with the highest student attendance for September will receive ice cream, which is very exciting. Weekly messages about the importance of attendance through various social media and other platforms. Thank you, Ms. Robinson-Williams. You are so amazing. 2 attendance infomercials will be sent out to our families, and they star some of our very own staff and students. I want to say the second one will star Dr. Weston, which is very exciting. A commitment in September and throughout the school year to make connections with students. That's what it's all about. And make learning fun and engaging and use a supportive approach. So I do think we have that first video, and that is how we'll end. Oh, I need to click. This is my first time doing this, John. I'm sorry. Okay.
Did you know that September is Attendance Awareness Month? We want you to build a habit of great attendance because every day matters.
Did you know that too many absences can cause your child to lag behind, and it can make it even harder for them to learn to read? They need to come to school.
Attending school regularly helps children feel better about themselves and school.
Being present and on time every day is important and will help with success in college or in the workplace.
Each day a student misses time from school can cause them to fall behind academically.
We want you here at school.
Did you know by 6th grade, absenteeism is one of the 3 signs that a student may drop out of high school? By 9th grade, attendance is a better predictor of graduation rates than 8th grade test scores.
We know that there are times that your child will be sick. We ask that you please keep them home and focus on getting them well. You may contact the school by note, email to let us know about your child's illness. In the meantime, you may also contact your child's teacher to ask for any work they may miss during their absence.
Here in Dinwiddie County, the expectation is greatness.
And we can't be great without you here with us.
School attendance fosters a sense of community between students and teachers. Without students being in the building, this cannot be replicated any other way. We want you to put the A in attendance.
Attendance here is very important at Dinwiddie High School. Number 1, we're going to miss you. We want you to be here. We care about you. You matter. We want to see your face in this place every day. When you're not at school, your teachers miss you. Your administrators miss you. You miss out on your friends and spending time with them. But more importantly, you miss out on learning. Your goal here at DHS is to graduate and wear one of these one day. And you have to be here to earn that right to graduate. You have to be here to do your work. You have to be here to participate. This is your school, and you deserve a great education. So make sure you come and get it.
What did you do today that you could only do at school?
I could count.
And?
What? Good recess.
Why is it important to come to school each day?
Color.
What did you do today that you could only do at school?
Learn a lot.
Why is it important to come to school each day?
To learn new things and make new friends.
Students should miss no more than 9 school days each year to stay engaged, successful, and on track to graduation.
It is our expectation that students are present 95% of the time. That means no more than 9 days per school year.
To all of our Dinwiddie students, you matter. We want you here every day because you're capable of great things We can't wait to see your face every day. Have an amazing school year.
So good.
And one more thank you is Brian Pittman because he helped put that together. So thank you very
It was
much.
so awesome.
Thank you. Very good. And hopefully it will work well. Get these kids in school to stay there.
Do we need to adopt the resolution that she was reading? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, the consent agenda expenditure reports.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the expenditure report as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the expenditure reports as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, approval of the minutes from August the 9th and August the 30th, 2022.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the minutes of August 9th and August 30th, 2022.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes from August 9th and August 30th, 2022. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, aye. All right, board matters. We have some field trips.
Yes.
A whole lot of field trips.
Our young people are going places.
Yes, they are.
Figuratively and literally. So Ms. Wegman.
Hello.
Hi.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yes, we have a lot of field trips. It's exciting,
Yes, ma'am.
It's good to get back into it. Our first field trip is FBLA. They're looking to go to a leadership conference in Williamsburg at the end of the month. The students are hoping to have some leadership training, work on management skills, and our advisors are hoping to be able to also do professional development while they're there. It's
Do
going
they
to
spend the night?
it is going to be overnight. Yes, it's 2 adults and 3 young ladies that'll be going, and there'll be
Is it 2 nights or 1 night?
It's 2 adults, and it's 1 night.
One
It's
night.
going to be September 29th and the 30th, but it's 1 night.
Okay.
Yes.
Any questions from anyone?
Madam Chair, I
Okay.
move that we accept the request for the FBLA Leadership Conference.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded for us to accept the FBLA Fall Leadership Conference as presented. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, next one.
Our next field trip is for our DECA and marketing department. They are looking to go to the state fair on September 28th. This is during a school day. They want to practice competition, prepare for competition for the December competition that's going to be there. So they're trying to go practice role playing and to get some experience to do that for the future competition.
And it's just a day trip.
This is just going to be a day trip. Yeah, it's 2 adults going and 20 students that are going to be participating.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the DECA marketing field trip to the state fair.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we accept the DECA marketing field trip to the state fair as presented. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The next one.
Yes, our FCCLA is also wanting to go to the state fair, and they're actually just going to be spectating and watching the competition. And this is so they're going to be a junior class that's going to be going, and they want to compete their senior year. So they're trying to get experience to like their expectations for their senior year. And this is going to be for about 40 students and 4 to 5 adults that'll be attending this day.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the trip for FCCLA to the fair.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the FCCLA trip to the field trip to the state fair. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next one is a basketball field trip.
Yes, and this is actually for October. They're just trying to get ahead to make sure that they can plan properly. This is for our boys basketball team. This is our varsity level players. They are looking to go to a 2-day tournament in Virginia Beach, and this is where they can play in front of college recruitment and gain exposure at a different level and meet other people outside of our area and play against them. Players will be able to stay there if their parents attend. If their parents do not attend, they'll have to come back with the coach.
So how does this work when you just take varsity basketball kids that are interested? Because you wouldn't have picked the team.
No, they haven't picked the team yet. I'm guessing it's students that are interested.
gonna try out.
That are going to try out, yes. And this is going to be October 29th, so it is like at the end of October. But they, like I said, they had to get in there and make sure that they get approval for that.
Okay. Madam Chair, I move that we accept the basketball field trip.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the basketball field trip to Virginia Beach. All those in favor? Please say aye. Okay.
Thank you. In our last field trip, 2 of our Dinwiddie students have been selected to participate in the PERT program at the Wilson Workforce Rehabilitation Center. And this is actually where they're going to go for about a week long. And they're going to be learning different skills that's going to prepare them. And this is October 17th through the 21st that they'll attend. Their parents will be taking them there and picking them up, and they're going to be staying in some of the dormitories that are located at that facility.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the exceptional education field trip to Wilson's Workforce Rehabilitation Center.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the exceptional education field trip to Wilson Workforce Rehabilitation Center. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And
All right.
that is all I have today.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I have to leave. I have a volleyball game.
That's right.
Okay, good luck. Okay, now we have some Dinwiddie Middle School.
Yes, good afternoon
trips.
again.
Good afternoon.
We have a field trip request. FBLA Leadership Training Conference will be held in Colonial Williamsburg, the same field trip that Ms. Wegman mentioned. And our FBLA officers for the 2022-23 school year will attend along with their sponsor. Participants will attend workshops on leadership and chapter management training, team building, and advisor professional development. The students will travel by way of van. If available from transportation, they will stay overnight at the Doubletree by Hilton Hotel in Williamsburg, Virginia. Registration cost for all participants is $65, which includes 3 meals, and the room cost is $116, and funds raised will offset the cost. It is recommended that the board approves this trip, and greatly appreciate it if you do approve it.
It's one night.
It's going to be the 29th, September 29th, one night, to the 30th, September 29th and the 30th.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the field trip for the students to attend in Williamsburg.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the FBLA field trip to Williamsburg for the Dinwiddie Middle School students. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Okay.
next.
The next one, this trip is for members of our FFA and FBLA to learn more about Virginia's most attractive destinations in the agriculture cluster. Students will learn about agribusiness and agritourism. They will also enjoy the following attractions during the trip: apple school presentation, peck bag for apple picking, wagon ride through the orchard, and sample of apple cider and apple cider donut. Newton bus service will provide transportation, and students will miss one day of classroom. Actually, it'll be in school, but they'll be on serving as a field trip on November the 11th, 2022. And if there are any missing assignments, they will be completed.
What group is doing this?
Our Future Farmers of America and FBLA.
Okay.
And so board approval will be needed for this. Greatly appreciate it if you do approve.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I also move that we approve the field trip for FBLA and FFA to Charlottesville, Virginia.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the FBLA FFA field trip to Charlottesville, Virginia. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now we have some elementary field trips.
We just put ours all together in one big clump. And I will say, Mr. Bird, if you need a chaperone for that Charlottesville field trip, that sounds great. So I believe you have the list of field trips for elementary. Basically, elementary students take one required trip and 2 choice trips per year from that list. And many field trips are offered virtually. And the chart contains hyperlinks for the virtual trips and just other information to make it easy for schools and teachers to book these field trips. These trips are directly linked to the standards of learning, so it's an extension of what they're learning in the classroom. And included in this are a few trips that are over 50 miles away, and I believe that is why we do need your approval. The main ones are Jamestown, and Williamsburg. I will say this list is pretty much the same as it has always been, except some 4th graders were not able to visit Jamestown last year due to COVID-19 and just some restrictions. So 5th graders this year have the opportunity to visit Jamestown as well, if the school chooses to do that. So what we would ask is that you approve the list as it is.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the list for the elementary schools, and which would allow the different schools to pick and choose the approved trips.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded for us to approve the elementary school field trips for this coming year. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, local assessment for highly qualified paraprofessionals. Ms. Branch?
And Dr. John.
And, okay.
I have the pleasure of being able to have Dr. Joyner accompany me on this presentation. And I just want to say first that we couldn't be here today without her help. You know, she was a very strong and valuable contributor to making this hopefully a reality today. So I just want to say personally, thank you for all the hard work you did. Okay. So, in regards to the local assessment for highly qualified paraprofessionals, some of you may recall that it was several years ago that the DOE, or more specifically, as a part of Title I, Part A of ESSA, the No Child Left Behind Act, required us to change the requirements of our paraprofessionals. And as a paraprofessional is defined by Title I, a paraprofessional is an employee of a local education agency who provides instructional support in a program with Title I Part A funds. However, when that rule was passed, the school division here decided that we would require all paraprofessionals to meet these requirements for highly qualified, not just the Title I schools. So in order to obtain the highly qualified status, the paraprofessional either has to, well, they have to have a secondary school degree, such as a high school diploma or GED. And then they also have to have 2 years of college or an associate's degree or higher. Or if they don't meet the requirement of the 2 years college, they could take a assessment, which the state has adopted, the Parapro assessment. To meet that requirement. And the Parapro assessment tests them in reading, writing, and mathematics. And that's how we have survived so far since 2008, is in having employees meet those requirements. However, in small fine print, the DOE tells us that the school board has the option of adopting a local assessment, and that's why we stand here before you today. Starting last year, it became increasingly difficult for us to recruit and attract paraprofessional candidates that already met the requirements. So what we did to lower the barriers is that we hired them on a contingency basis, allowing them a couple of months to be able to study for and take the Parapro assessment. Out of that experience, we did have a couple of individuals who were unable to pass the assessment, but otherwise they were a valuable employee. So it caused us to come back to the table together and to begin thinking about what were some things that we could do to help remove this barrier. Over the years, we have encountered a couple of challenges in using the parapro assessment as our source of being able to qualify paraprofessionals. When we did do testing on site at the high school, we started experiencing some issues in the computer lab because our operating system was more technologically updated or advanced than the testing system for the parapro assessment. So kudos to you, technology team. And as a result of that, it would cause the computers to crash and, of course, would increase test anxiety among our staff members and would cause them to lose time on the test as well. So we stopped really using that as a source and would encourage people to go to Richmond to take the test. However, some people had challenges with transportation and getting there. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, the testing service, ETS, who administers the Parapro, they started allowing individuals to take the Parapro at home. However, there are stringent requirements on the background, the materials that they can have readily available to them, and also they have to be on a laptop or computer to take the assessment. Many of our, or all of our paraprofessionals use a Chromebook right now. So even if they were to try to take the assessment at home on that Chromebook, they would not be able to due to ETS's operating requirements. So we feel that it would be best if we be, one other thing is that if you fail the assessment, you have to wait 28 days before you can retake it again. So that extends the timeline on how fast we can know if a person has passed or not, which is all the more reason for us to be able to implement our own local assessment because it allows us to be able to administer it at our own flexibility. We don't have to worry about a retesting window. We can make sure the person has a quiet location to test, and it eliminates them doing the extra travel. So for the local assessment that we are proposing today, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Joyner, and she's going to give you some details on the local assessment that we've developed and other stuff.
So the ETS paraprofessional assessment is a general aptitude assessment that focuses on the areas of reading, math, and writing, and the candidate's ability to be.
Do you want to use the microphone for at home?
I'm thinking I'm using my teacher voice. I apologize. So the ETS Parapro assessment focuses on 3 areas, reading, writing, and math. Our assessment is aligned to that ETS assessment where it also focuses on the areas of reading, writing, and math. It does have 20 questions, multiple choice questions in each domain. So the focus is on general aptitude in those areas, as well as the paraprofessional's ability to be able to apply those domains in the classroom. We want to step forward and wanted to include a section on our local assessment about the roles and responsibilities of the paraprofessional. So we have a now 70 question assessment that focuses on those areas. One of the things that we know from all learners is that not everyone learns in the same way. So with our local assessment, the paraprofessional would be able to take it in multiple ways. They can take it using Google and using the Chromebook or using a laptop, or we know that there are some adult learners that may also need to take it paper and pencil. So we have that flexibility as well.
So a part of the requirements for being able to take the local assessment here is we would need a recommendation for the staff member to take our local assessment from the school principal. Okay, and that recommendation would come after that employee has had 2 failed attempts at taking the parapro assessment. So this is not meant to eliminate the parapro assessment, but is really the intention is for it to be implemented as an alternative to reduce the barriers for those that may have issues with passing the parapro assessment.
And then one other thing to note is that the successful completion of this local alternative means that the candidate is highly qualified only in Dinwiddie.
Correct. So that means it would not be transferable to another school system. Dr. Joyner and I asked a lot of our peers, had they explored this before, and everyone was like, no, we haven't, but, let us know what you find out. So, I'm very proud of what we've come up with, and we plan on keeping a closed lid on it so it stays here in Dinwiddie. But we will not be able to move forward with this unless we have your approval. So I will give you this opportunity to ask us any questions you may have.
If someone wants to use it, there could be a price tag involved.
Yes, that's right. Right.
Or some other perk.
Some type of bartering
Yes.
system.
Now, how did y'all come up with the questions? That is it part from what they were testing before?
Yes, so it is aligned to the ETS assessment, and we surveyed various other states as well. There were some study guide materials that were out there that we used.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad to know that you took the time to do that, because I think I've been one an advocate sort of for that when we have good employees and they need an assessment, and we know that everybody doesn't learn the same, as you said, and then some people get so nervous on the test they forget, and if they knew anything they forget it, and I know that. So I'm happy that you have done that for our people here in Dinwiddie.
And you're right, some people need to, we're still at the point where we need paper and pencil, some of us, in order to take the test. So
It seems like
it's a
you
good
covered
option.
Yeah.
Covered everything.
We discovered with ETS, the testing at home option, they won't even allow you to have a piece of paper. They
Oh,
just
my.
would only allow you to have a dry erase board that had to meet certain dimensions. So certainly that can, limit a person as well when that's not something you're used to functioning with on a day-to-day basis.
If I'm in order, Madam Chair, I move that we accept let me read it right, the local assessment for highly qualified paraprofessionals.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we accept give them approval for the local assessment for the highly qualified paraprofessionals. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your hard work.
It was wonderful.
Okay, any new business?
No, ma'am.
Nope. All right, enrollment update?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, we are several weeks into the school year, and we are enrollment strong, which I'm pleased to say for the first time in a little while. Our budget was built on 4,100 students, and right now, well, at the end of August, we sat at 4,101, which that's great. So we will continue to monitor this throughout September. We do September 30th membership report to the state, and that does indicate how we will be funded for certain state funding streams. Also, we will continue to monitor it, of course, and give you monthly updates. But our state revenue is really based on the aggregate of our average daily membership on March the 31st. But this is good. We're starting out, at least, we're not talking about under budget
Right.
for enrollment. So we are very pleased about that. Does anybody have any questions about any of that at this time?
How many people do we still have on virtual?
70.
70.
Yes.
54 as of this morning.
Oh, 54 now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that in this count? Is that in this
Yes,
count?
they're counted.
Yes,
Yeah, we
yes,
count
ma'am.
them.
Well, that I'm happy with you.
Yes, me too.
Very good.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, transportation update?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I think Bonnie, yeah, okay. Are you going to click it, Bonnie? I click it? Okay, okay, I'll figure it out. I'm here this evening to give you an update on transportation. It's something that I wanted to give to you, not necessarily to, oh, woe is us, but to show you that, the transportation department is working very hard, and they are definitely under there's some challenges and some obstacles, and they're working hard to meet those obstacles also. And there's been a lot of manpower and a lot of effort put into that. And I think we had one late bus today, maybe. I don't know if Mr. Johnson said it was late, but I don't think it was late. He considers anything like 1 minute late. But and when you see these numbers, you'll see that's an impressive feat. Whoops. So I got to figure. There we go. So right now our transportation staff stands at in the dispatch office, and the dispatch office, that's a new term for me that I just learned. Mr. Tucker told me that's what you're supposed to call it. But that's the front of the house, and that's the coordinators, the people up there, whether it be the receptionist or the director or the routing specialist or the temporary transportation coordinator, which we've added. So that's why there's a 3 with a 4 next to it. The 4 is the asterisk. That's the 4th person. I truly believe after 2.5 weeks of this that to be fully staffed, our dispatched office needs 4 people. That was kind of the goal, is to see what it's like, how it runs with that. And I think it's running really well, but we'll get to that at a later date. The bus garage shop back in the back where they work on the vehicles, 5. They do have 5. I believe they are fully staffed. One of the things that has been helpful is they spend a lot of time tinkering with lawnmowers, but we actually outsourced our lawn service, so that helped us a lot. We're not working on as many lawnmowers. Bus drivers, we have 45 bus drivers on payroll, but only 40 of them are actually working right now because we have 5 that are currently on extended sick leave. Things happen. People get sick and you have to go on sick leave, and that's part of it. The problem with that is that 55 would make us fully staffed. So we are understaffed as far as bus drivers goes. But again, I'm not telling you that to feel sorry for us. I'm telling you that because that's what we're working with and that's the reality. But I think every locality has the same problem. Car drivers, we have 8 currently, and to be fully staffed, we would need 10, but they're doing a very good job. We have a lot of car riders that do very long routes. Substitute drivers, we do have 2. And we would need at least 5 to be considered fully staffed. So right now we have 59 employees in the transportation department, 79 being fully staffed. What it would be to be fully staffed. Oops, I forgot I'm the clicker. Transportation services provided. This was eye-opening to me, and as I went through this, and I met with Mr. Tucker, and I met with some people down at the transportation office, I was surprised at all of the different services we do provide as a department. In-zone transportation is what you probably think of, as the very common transportation, which is you live in this area, you go to this school. So we have 36 secondary routes and 41 elementary routes where the student lives in a zone and goes to the school in that zone. Dual route bus drivers, which means you have a bus driver that runs a secondary route in the morning, goes back and runs an elementary route in the morning, and then does the same thing in the afternoon. We have 36 of those. All 36 of our secondary bus drivers run dual routes. Extended route drivers, that is, we could not fulfill the needs of a route, so we had to take that route and chop it up into 3 or 4 different routes. So that bus driver runs their route plus a little bit of another route. We do have 28 of those that are doing that. Out of zone transportation to specialty centers, we have 5 elementary routes, meaning, for instance, the best way is to give you the example. If your student has autism, they would go to Dinwiddie Elementary no matter where they live in the county. They go to the Dinwiddie Elementary School Autism Center, which, that isn't necessary, but it's also, it takes a driver to do that, and that driver sometimes has to drive long routes in order to get them. Exceptional education routes, meaning students who need accommodations. We have 3 secondary routes and 4 elementary routes for that. Transportation for students under McKinney-Vento Act. We have 4 students who fall under this act that live in Petersburg, 2 in North Scenes to make that happen for those students.
Is Rwanti and others covered under specialty centers, or is that?
No, ma'am. They're on the next slide, I
Oh, the
think.
next,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, yes.
Okay. So some other services we provide, and I broke this into students, transportation to Richmond area schools. And if you look there, Coda RVA, Maggie Walker, Bright Point, which used to be John Tyler, the Faison Center, and North Star Academy, we have 20 students who go there. The Faison Center is an autism specialty center, and North Star Academy is a school for students with exceptional needs. Transportation to Tri-City area schools. Okay, the Lead Center in Hopewell, which is a therapeutic day school. Believe in You in Prince George, which is an extra tutoring, extra help type of school. ARGS, which you know is we remember of. And then Rivermont and Chase City, we have 12 students that go there. The problem with this is this takes a driver to get somebody. For instance, Rivermont and Chase City, we have 1 student. So that driver is obligated basically for the day to take that student to Rivermont in Chase City because we offer that service and we make sure that our students get the services they need. Our local DCPS shuttles, and actually, Dr. Weston, it's not included, but that is an in-day shuttle that we do. But those students have already been brought to school and they're taken home afterwards, so they're double shuttles. Local DCPS shuttles, DHS to DMS, we take students over. We don't want students walking across the street. I know back when my kids were in school, I was like, just let them walk, but that's not the way we should do business. The way we should do business is if a kid has a class at a different school, we need to make sure we take them over there. And we do that. Those bus drivers do a very good job of doing that. DES and Sunnyside preschool students, and then Pathway students are brought to DHS and DMS and from DHS and DMS every day. Okay. The other service that we provide is the procurement and the maintenance of all DCPS vehicles. And we have 85 plus vehicles, including buses, in our fleet right now, and it's growing. As the school system changes, as the needs of the school system changes, so does the needs of the transportation department. So we are adding vehicles. Our biggest problem right now with vehicles, as you'll see here in a second, is finding them. You know, we can't find vehicles to buy because they're not being readily available. So I keep forgetting to click, I'm sorry. So some advancement opportunities for transportation. Some things that we did, we took about a month and we looked at how can we make transportation, how can we make immediate impacts in transportation? And I think we've done that. And the first was some staff additions. We did add a temporary transportation coordinator down at the bus garage. Now, it's Carissa Setters, and she does not have a CDL, so she will never be on a bus. She'll always be there to answer questions and to deal with things, which is important because as hard as Mr. Tucker and Mrs. Kathy Connor work, they have to ride those bus routes so that we can provide that transportation. Well, when they're doing that, they can't be dealing with the things they need to deal with as the director and the routing specialist. So we did add that position. We have 3 bus drivers in training right now. They're just getting their loaded time, they call it, which is when I'm driving with students on the bus. And we are adding bus aides. And those are going to make some immediate impacts because it's going to, A, lessen the amount of time kids are on the bus because we have more drivers, but B, it's also going to give us the opportunity to not have late buses when bus drivers have to call in because everybody has to miss sometimes every once in a while. Some technological advances that we've made. We are switching, I think the meeting, it was yesterday, they had their kickoff meeting, so to speak, for the Transversa cloud-based transportation software. And what this does is it makes it real time. If it's cloud-based, there's no, and I didn't really understand this, but before we had to load it all up and then shoot it to the SIF, and the SIF then loaded it. Am I not saying that right?
Well, to make a long story short, if you go cloud-based, you're not dependent on a physical server in a location at any building around. The problem with a server being located here is that when there are power outages and things like that, it affects everything, as you notice some of the times here. But if it's cloud-based, it's on the web, and it's not affected by any of those glitches. And that's why our website, financial system, library system, none of those are affected by that. that kind of thing. We want the same thing to happen for transportation and some other programs that we're currently working on.
That's right. In short, I didn't understand what cloud-based was. So cloud-based makes it better. It makes it real time. It makes it more up to date. So that means when next year when we're ready to do bus routes, we can do them as soon as we're ready. We don't have to wait for the server interaction. The other thing was the fleet additions. Now, this is a supply challenge issue, but we are looking. Chuck down at maintenance, Chuck Townsend, is looking for a tire truck. We desperately need a tire truck. Right now, we're just using a pickup truck. And if you know anything about tires and bus tires, they're very heavy. We need a big, heavy-duty truck. And he's looking for one. We think we found one in Lynchburg, but it is going to be expensive. But we're going to try to find a way to afford that, and we're going to try to find a way to get that to make sure we're safely changing tires and servicing buses. We do need a couple one-ton maintenance vans. You've seen them. They look like passenger vans without windows, but they're a little heavier to carry the tools. We're having a hard time finding those, but if we can find those, we're going to purchase them. We're going to do everything we can to get them because it is important. And then student transportation vehicles. We're looking for vehicles that we can transport students. We're having a hard time having enough to transport all the students we have to transport. But as soon as we get those, then we will be purchasing them. So as soon as we can find them. Yes, ma'am.
Transfer, so is that the same system we were using last year but served differently?
It is. It is. It's the same company, correct?
Same company, but it's their new product.
Mm-hmm.
So parents have been given some sort of instruction on?
There'll be new training and all.
Yeah. And this is going to work a little more seamlessly with the tablets and the tracking of the buses and all that stuff. Because what would happen before is the server would lose it, and then the parent would see that the bus isn't moving anymore because the server lost the bus on the, but now that's not going to happen, hopefully. The big thing is I'm really excited about is next year our goal. This year we had our routes out before school started, and that was awesome. Yes. Next year we're going to have them out a month and a half, 2 months before school starts so that we can start getting used to them. Our bus drivers can drive them and find what problems are with them. And, we're going to make it a lot easier, a lot better. So. Are there any, I guess that's it. Are there any other questions that I can answer? I know I talk really fast when I get nervous. I apologize, but I wanted to get all this in for you. So. Okay. Thank you.
A lot of information.
What's that?
A lot of
It
information.
is a lot of information. I tried to condense it into 4 slides. My last one was like 20 slides, so
Yeah. But
So,
thank you.
All right, thanks.
Okay. All right. The human resource update?
So good afternoon again. Miss Golson, are you able to bring up the PowerPoint I have by chance? Yes, ma'am. I sent it twice, but I'd greatly appreciate it if you use the second version. She does a good job of making me look good. So the purpose of me being before you today is for me to give you a snapshot, so to speak, or a analysis of the challenges that we have concerning staffing and the teacher shortage within Dinwiddie County, as well as those that are being experienced abroad. Today, I plan to share with you our challenges, our current plans, and then also future plans that we have towards addressing this topic. I feel like it's always important for us to keep the mission and the values in mind. So with that being said, I would like to start with the mission and values that we have here in Dinwiddie County Public Schools, which is for us to provide each student the opportunity to become a productive citizen, engaging the entire community in the educational needs of our children. We also strive to retain and attract talented individuals who embody our core values of excellence, equity, and integrity. As it relates to our strategic plan, focusing on goal 3, which is staff excellence, it is stated that we will retain and recruit high-performing employees who put students first, practice inclusivity, and inherently add value to the organization. But I feel that before we can focus on how we retain and recruit high-performing employees, we have to first have a overview and an understanding of our community. So I'd like to explore a couple of things with you here in the following slides. For those of you that are native here or have made Dinwiddie your home, you already know that Dinwiddie, Virginia is rich in history and heritage, and that we have an industrial and agribusiness presence, and it is a great place to live, learn, and call home. Thanks to the National Center for Educational Statistics, I was able to provide this data to you this evening concerning our community. It's a combination of 2020, 21, and the prior year data on how it was collected. But as of now, it says our total population is at 28,485, which is slightly different than the numbers provided by the county recently. And it also indicates that we have over 10,000 households. As far as parents of children in public schools, it's saying the median income of those households is $74,025. However, I will say, I would be willing to debate that, because if you look at this next slide here, you will see, you may not be able to see it completely, but you'll see that it's telling us that there's over 18% that are not in the workforce. So, presenting the data, but also presenting the questions to you as well that we still have. Going back to the previous slide, I think it's important to note, as far as the households, it's saying that 65% of our households are made up of married couples, 7% cohabitation, 19% with a female, no husband present, when 9% male household person, no female present. Based on this data, we know that our population increased, and we've already talked about the questions concerning the median household income. And I also found out through my research that it says that we have almost 75% of households that have internet. However, I do question that as well, because there was no data to be able to support sustained subscriptions to that service. So I'm guessing that may be like one time sign up for internet, or, maybe they got it through the school system or some other resource.
And maybe count cell phone internet.
Yeah.
Exactly, hotspots. Exactly. So, drawing our attention to the educational attainment, we can see here that over 35% of people in the community do have some college or an associate's degree as well. Now that we understand the makeup of our community, I thought we could explore the demographics of our staff here in Dinwiddie County Public Schools. When you look at the race and ethnicity section, you can see there that we have approximately 71% individuals who have identified as white. And then we also have the remaining percentage, which is, and I guess I need my glasses on, but close to 30% African American, and then all of the other categories, which are a combination of 2 or more races, Native American or Pacific Islander, those were all less than 1%. Concerning the gender makeup of those within our school division, majority, 80% of our employees have identified as female, 20% as male, and then less than 1% chose not to identify. Concerning the challenges that we have within the educational system, K through 12, we already know that there's a decrease of individuals entering the teaching profession and that we have a lack of qualified, fully licensed candidates. Compensation continues to be a concern, although, we work feverishly to ensure that we continue to be in the running along with our competitive schools in the region. Concerning barriers to entry, there's the assessment that teachers are required to take, as well as the additional coursework. Lastly, housing continues to be an option. On the previous slide, it did note that a lot of the dwellings here are older dwellings, and we have less than 20% dwellings that are apartments, which would be for a single family living. So I thought to put things in perspective for you that I would give you this example here in the next couple of slides. Throughout my research, you can see here that as of October 2021, there were over 2,500 teaching vacancies as reported by the Department of Education. 617 of those vacancies were what I would like to call the big three schools, which are Richmond, Henrico, and Chesterfield. And if you consider the number of vacancies that we have here within Dinwiddie County this year concerning teacher vacancies, it's 14. And the projections are that the teacher shortage will continue and will progressively decline. So let's explore what's happening in Virginia right now. Recently, our Governor Youngkin committed to fast-tracking efforts to reduce teacher shortages. And a spokesperson for him is quoted to say that they are working very closely with the Board of Education and across state governments to remove barriers. So let's talk about barriers, shall we? What does it take to be a teacher? According to the licensure regulations for school personnel, a person must graduate from an approved teacher preparation program in the content area or possess a bachelor's degree from a regionally accredited college or university. They must have completed coursework in the content area, and they must also complete professional studies requirements. So to put it in perspective for you, I thought I would take a couple of the positions that we hire for on an annual basis and just break it down for you and show you what it would take to become a teacher in each of those areas. For the Department of Licensure, to get a provisional license, just to qualify for the provisional, you must meet all but 6 to 9 credit hours in the content area. And I say 6 to 9 because in elementary education, they will make an exception for 9 credit deficiencies. For all other content areas, it's 6 credit hour deficiencies. So break that down in a typical college course. That means that you can either have 2 or 3 college courses that you would be short in order to receive the provisional license. I believe many of you know that a lot of the teachers that we hire, not just in Dinwiddie, but abroad, are career switchers, and they did not pursue education as their first profession. Therefore, they are not going to meet the requirements as they are in the licensure regulations. So what I did here is I gave a breakdown for pre-K 6, middle school teacher, foreign language, and special education. Starting from my left for elementary education, the requirement is that you meet 36 hours in the content area, or you have 48 hours and you pass the praxis. So take away 9 credit hours from either 36 hours or the 48 hours and you qualify for a provisional. Moving forward to middle school teacher, you would need 24 hours in the content area, math, science, history, whatever your content area, English, or have a bachelor's degree and pass the praxis for that content area. For foreign language, you would need to have 30 hours of coursework above the immediate level, distributed in several areas, or have a bachelor's degree in the praxis. And then for special education, you would need a bachelor's degree plus 27 hours of coursework in the special education area. And there is no praxis assessment available for the special education license degree requirements. So I'm not sure if you understand yet, but as you can see, we have a large uphill battle to climb, or large hill to climb, when it comes to getting candidates that can qualify to obtain a provisional license. Now, as I said before, that's just to get the provisional. But once they get the provisional, if they did not go through an approved teacher prep program, meaning they went to school, they majored in elementary education, etc., they have to complete 21 additional hours in professional studies requirements within the next 3 years when they get that provisional. So it's really ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sorry. Concerning barriers, additionally, when it comes to teacher turnover, data tells us that there's approximately 12% of teachers that leave teaching after the first year, and about 28% of all teachers leave after 3 years, and then more than 41% leave within 5 years.
Wow, that's a lot.
Is some of that due to they got provisionals and then didn't get all those courses?
Couldn't get it.
Yes, that's correct. And recently, the Department of Education has started giving license extensions to provisional license. It's supposed to be that a provisional is a one-time license with no extensions, but within the past 2 years, they have started granting 2-year extensions. So that has helped a lot in being able to retain teachers. But prior to that, without that extension, we would have to have Dr. Weston to write a letter and explain to the DOE all the reasons why we needed to keep the teacher, and then hope that they give us the extension. Concerning the data nationally concerning why teachers leave, or statewide in Virginia, we can see here the primary reason is they leave for dissatisfaction, or family or personal reasons, retirement, to pursue another job, or for financial reasons. Now, this data we received from the Small School Rural Coalition a couple of years ago. So it is not the most up to date, but I do feel it is consistent with where we are at today at Dinwiddie County Public Schools in regards to our retention rate. As you can see at the top, that is our retention percentage, and you can see that it is kind of coasting out at around 2016 and stabilizing, and then the turnover or exit percentage is decreasing as of 2016. So the data tells us that at that time, that was based on 2016, that it was 85% of Dinwiddie County Public Schools teachers that were returning. And I'm happy to say that later in this presentation, I'll show you that we've increased since then. Our retention rate was higher than the average in Virginia, and that 9% of the division's teachers in 16-17 did not teach in any Virginia public school the following year, compared to the 9% of our local division. Also, our exit rate was lower than the average. So for a snapshot as far as why people leave Dinwiddie County Public Schools, we provided this data in our leadership advance about a month ago. So our senior leaders were able to see this, but I wanted to be able to share this with you as well. There's various reasons for why our employees leave, but as you can see, the primary reason for our employees seems to be because they are accepting employment outside of the education field. Now, we are working to increase the number of people that participate in our exit surveys. This was a snapshot, of course, of the people that participated in it, but we are moving forward towards expanding our options and getting that information from them as far as providing in-person opportunities for them to share their thoughts with us, and also choosing options where it is sent to them through a third party, so they don't have to have a concern about someone knowing who said what and, trying to use that information adversely. Regarding the positions of employees exiting, it's no surprise that teachers was the largest number of positions that left at about 46%. Over half of our workforce right now is of teachers, so that is no surprise. And then coming in right behind those positions would be our bus driver and paraprofessional positions. And then all of the other positions are listed to the top left portion of the pie chart. Concerning the race and ethnicity of our employees that left, what did I do? Okay. So I apologize that it's kind of overlapping, but I was trying to give you a snapshot of both of them together. As you can see that we primarily had Caucasian employees that exited, and then secondly, as far as race, was Black or African American. As far as gender is concerned, it was also consistent with the information I've reported to you in our demographics that about 80% of those that leave are female and close to 20% are male. Concerning the current staffing data here, employees that are contracted as of right now, FY23 is 592. Of those teachers, of that amount, 330 are teachers. Average service years is 12.2 years, and we have 47% of teachers with advanced degrees, and about 60% of employees who either graduated from DCPS or now make Dinwiddie their home. And as I mentioned previously, our retention rate has improved from the last time the data was collected from the Small Rural Schools Coalition, and we have retained about 89% of our employees. Concerning the critical shortage areas versus our current vacancies, on the left-hand side, I have the critical shortage positions as defined by the Department of Education. This changes every year depending on what they see as the top positions that are critical. This year, in comparison to that, we have 14 vacancies, and 6 of those positions are in the top 10 critical shortage areas. And those are the vacancies that we currently have now. So what are we doing? We are reviewing recruiting and hiring practices and creating opportunities and avenues for teacher licensure. Most recently, we collaborated with Virginia State University to submit a grant application to provide a teacher apprenticeship program. It's currently pending review by the DOE. We've also applied for grants concerning offering an opportunity to our paraprofessionals, particularly those in the special education setting, to be able to help those that may have an associate's degree or higher to obtain their degree either through a partnership with the university or either through a direct billing agreement where we would utilize grant funds that were available to assist with that. With your approval today, we developed the local paraprofessionals assessment to be able to enhance the career development of our local professionals. And we always partner with our finance team to be able to sustain an attractive compensation package, which we know is always more than salaries, but includes benefits and also other fringe benefits on top of that. We always want to be able to hear the feedback from our employees. So in part of sustaining the compensation package, we will do ad hoc committees as needed so that we can be able to review and assess what we do. And lastly, we continue to have a comprehensive induction and mentoring program due to, or and thanks in part to our innovation and development department, who works with our new teachers and even some that may be in substituting positions to make sure that our students are getting a quality experience. Coming up in the next couple of weeks, we will be transitioning to some new systems platforms to be able to help us in retaining and attracting our employees. Right now, we have Frontline, but effective October 1st, we will be transitioning to Smart Find Express. And this was primarily done because, we do have goals from a human resources and a stewardship perspective for us to be able to maintain and attract talent and also to improve our efficient use of resources, processes, and management. So ultimately, what we would like to be able to do is to provide systems that work seamlessly together so that we'll be able to improve our record keeping and also stay in line with the current trends and legal aspects as it relates to the Fair Labor Standards Act, overtime pay, all of those things. So because of that, we had to look for a system that would allow us to do timekeeping electronically and also be able to track those absences. And from a cost management perspective, it was best for us to transition to Smart Find Express. So right now, we're currently going through that implementation for a Smart Find Express, and we also anticipate that in Q1 of 2023, we'll be going to Time Clock Plus, which will be able to allow employees to clock in and clock out for various jobs that they have. So there's not ever a question about, the additional assignments or additional pay that they have. That we all know is kind of a part of the teacher shortage crisis, in which, we have teachers that do extra duties, teach extra classes, and provide support wherever it's needed. So I appreciate your time. This presentation, of course, was for your informational purposes. But of course, if you have any questions about what we're doing, what we have done, I'd be willing to entertain them.
Well, Ms. Branch, you've done an excellent job telling us what was the data that you found out compared to what we are doing here. And I think you're doing an excellent job of trying to move us forward. And these are things I feel like we've needed, and what you're doing, we'll get there.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Branch, we're starting on October 1st with a different system that I'm assuming applies to substitutes. So we would have to get the people that are willing to be our substitutes in somewhere to retrain them on this system. Am I correct?
Yes, that's correct. So the rollout right now has started with we started with the pilot group. So that pilot group included members from central office, as well as some of our teachers and some of our substitutes. And then from that pilot group, we've been able to get their feedback on what changes we need to make to be able to make instructions clearer, things like that. And then after tonight's meeting, we plan on pushing out the information to everyone on what those guidelines are. It is a pretty simple process, but it does involve the employee or the substitutes making that first step to call in. So our HR department is readily available to be able to assist with that. We spent a lot of time scrubbing our substitute list so that we could make sure that the people that are interested in working and that are active are able to complete that process and in the system. So as it stands right now, we have about 62 substitutes that are active at this point. And as always, we're always willing to accept more.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Branch.
Thank you.
Very thorough. Do we have any citizens' comments? Okay. Board member comments?
Okay. First, I want to say welcome to Jonathan and Grace. I look forward to working with you all. I'm sitting here. I have got a whole lot going on through my head because from the time we walked in here and from the recognitions up till now, I'm thinking, wow, we're not just talking about what we need to do, we're actually doing it. So, Dr. Clay, I say to you, you're right. The right people are sitting at the table, and it's the right time. So I want to say to the principals, your staff, Mr. Walters, the transportation, we're doing wonderful things here, and I want to commend everybody for what you're doing to help attract our children attracted to learning, to keep our children attracted to learning. So, Mr. Garnes, so they can earn that right to wear that cap and gown. You know, so I want to say I'm proud to be a part of Dinwiddie. And I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And Jamaica, it's good to see you. And I thank you. I feel real good today about the things that we're doing. Thank you so much.
Miss Mary is just doing a lot of talking. Grace and Jonathan, welcome. Jamaica, it's good to see you, a senior this year, and it's good to see each of you. I'm not going to repeat everything Miss Mary has said. I did go to Sunnyside twice at the returning of the students, and I also went to Sutherland, and it was a great job, great seeing the students come back, and all the trips that are planned have talked about leadership. And I'm a stickler for leadership because when you do any training in leadership, it will work in school, out of school. You can carry it wherever you go. So I applaud you teachers, leaders who have gotten these trips together so your staff and students can learn more about leadership as they go forward. I love that. I can't get enough of leadership myself. I don't know how much leadership I do, but I know it's very important that you get the training, and they're getting it now. So thank you for that. And also, I attended the rural band internet. We're trying to get internet in the county, and Ms. Pittman and I are very adamant. We want it all over the county, accessible.
Mainly because
and
our
so
two
tell
homes
people
don't have
that
any.
they can call to sign up for the rural band. Also, I attended the centennial at McKinney on Saturday. McKinney is now 100 years old, 1922 to 2022. So that was very interesting, very well attended, and some of us in here were there also. And what else did I do? And I also attended our advisory task force on equity and racial reconciliation. So I've been pretty busy, but Dinwiddie is moving forward. And I can see, as Ms. Merritt said, we're not talking about it, we're doing it. So, and thanks to each of you, because as some of you said this afternoon, no one can do it by themselves. It used to be, I think, I'm older than anybody in here. It was no man is an island, I believe. So it takes all of us to make this work. Thank you.
Makes the dream work.
That's right.
Yes. Thank you.
Ms. Pittman?
I know we need to make changes and changes necessary, and I'm not afraid to change, but I just want to mention that we make sure we don't leave people behind. We got, changes in our student information system, changes in our substitute system, changes in the transverse bus thing. So sometimes it takes parents a little bit extra to catch up. Sometimes it takes some employees a little bit extra to catch up. So those of you that are working with these new systems, you're more familiar with it because you do it and you put it in. But please make sure we check on all the fringes around the edge of people that are not necessarily using those things on a daily basis. I really, I'm proactive on the kids taking trips. I know we need to protect that time in instruction, but hands-on learning is where it's at, and however much we can get these kids out into the real world and see things, I think that's the best way to go. And I agree with Ms. Benjamin on the rule band thing. We went to that presentation, and it's good news that we have another company coming in and trying. We halfway joked and said maybe the third time is a charm, because this is round number 3. We need people to sign up, encourage even if they aren't going to actually get it, but the more people we have sign up in an area, the company will come there faster. I have one concern about that. They've gotten millions in grants from federal government, state government to do this, but the presentation said it was for 1,600 homes, and I heard today that we have 10,000 homes. And I'm a little bit worried that my house isn't amongst the 1,600. But anyway, people on my road have to walk up to their driveway to get a cell phone call. And if you have called me and it drops, and many of you have dropped when I'm at, I'm the same way. So I'm hoping this third one is a charm. But 1,600 homes out of 10,000 still leaves us woefully unconnected.
It's not 85%, is it?
It's not 85%. Exactly. Thank you.
Again, welcome, Jonathan and Grace. It's good to have you here and joining us. And Jamaica, it is good to see you again, too. And just like everybody said, this is going to be a good year. I'm glad that the year is starting off fine. I know y'all have a wonderful team up here at the school board. We're very proud of all of you. Everybody seems to be working well together. The principals are doing a marvelous job. And I hope this year goes as well as the beginning has for all of you. And hopefully we can have a wonderful year.
Madam Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
I wonder we were chosen to become a master school.
That's right.
That's right. Yes, we are working to become a master board. So we have done 2 training sessions. We have 2 more to go.
That's correct.
So anyway, but it has been an honor to work for all of you. And we are very happy to be here. Thank you. Superintendent?
No, school board.
Oh, school board reps
Student rep.
first. Yes.
I guess
I'm
Grace-
sorry, I missed
Grace.
them first. Grace and Jonathan?
I just like to give thanks to everyone for getting us here, to have this opportunity that I'm with the students have, to represent everybody as a whole, to benefit all the students in the county, not just at the high school level. I'd also like to say thank you. Thank you for this opportunity, and I just want to get changes made that benefits all, and not just people at the high school level. And I just want to get things done and not just, come talk about them, but actually move a few things around.
That's great. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Well, me, myself, I think it's a great opportunity to be here with the school board and get the experience that other students don't get to get. And I like being able to communicate with my fellow students better. And yeah, I'm really excited to be here. I was very excited today. I couldn't really sit in my seat. But I'd like to say thank you, and thank you, Mr. Garnes, for allowing me to be here. So, yeah.
Thank you.
I mean,
All right, now Dr. Weston.
I'll say that I've had the opportunity to have a number of school openings. We won't say how many that that I've been a part of. But I will say that this has been the smartest, safest, smoothest, and most successful school opening that I think I've ever experienced. And I think you're absolutely right, Ms. Merritt. If you truly listen to the young people tonight and you listen to the presentations and what people said, it has to do with the people that we have in our schools and working at the central office, serving from the central office. I mean, we truly have the right people in place to do this work. And I cannot wait to see what's going to happen this year and moving forward. I'd be amiss if I forgot to mention that Friday evening we will have our back to school bash. I know we're halfway through the first 9 weeks, but we will be great weather is then forecasted. And so we will be there from 5 to 8. And Ms. Robinson Williams has really been leading that effort for us. And we look forward to having our families out there on Friday evening. I don't think we'll have any snakes for you, Ms. Pittman.
I can arrange for that.
Yes, no. But we look forward to spending an evening with our families this Friday.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody might have? Jamaica, do you want to say anything?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. I'm so honored to still have the opportunity to serve amongst the board and help out our fellow student representatives. So, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Madam Chair, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. This meeting is now over. Thank you.